All right, here we are again. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining again on the stream. Once again, we're working on Tempest and we're building a new component today, CLI component. But first, I want to show you something. If you were here yesterday at the previous stream, take a look at this. We have auto completion on our attribute class thingy. I actually still not entirely certain what went wrong. Someone pointed out that I wrote one asterisk here instead of two, which indeed was wrong, but it still works if I try it out right now. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter. I'm happy that it works. I also made the API a little bit more intuitive. I think that's better. Also added a global function. Well, not a global function. They are namespaced, but a function. I just like to write attribute instead of attributes find. It's a little bit shorter, and yeah, I like this approach. It's personal. There are other ways to do it, but today I'm pretty excited because I want to write a CLI component. Now, I could use Symfony Console, right? And this one exists since 2012. It's probably one of the most installed packages of all time. 600. How to say it? How to say big number? It's quite large. Saying large numbers. No. I don't know, there was this side where I could just... doesn't matter. It's a couple of million, right? Which is a lot. It's a lot. If you go to packages, browse, I think there's the popular packages. Yeah, it's somewhere, it's here, and 600 million. There are a couple more, PSR log and Symfony polyfill for string, but apart from that, it's pretty much one of the most popular PHP packages out there, and I'm not going to use it. I want to do something else, and I think being able to start from scratch is a good exercise, but it's also interesting because you can start from a blank slate, right? And I was inspired by a package I saw here by Paul. He made something called AutoShell, and basically what he does, instead of registering commands with their definition, he just maps commands to classes. And he has, let's take a look here, he has some attributes to add metadata to command classes. I want to do something like this, but a little bit different still. So let's go over here and let's just write out what I want to be able to do, right? And then we can start building code. So let's say we have, this is our application folder. So this is where our code, our project code lives. And let's say we have a hello world command, something like this. It will implement an interface that's already provided. Command or console command? I'll choose console command, actually. I think that makes more sense. It will be empty for now. Console command, and basically, well, let's call this hello command, because what I want to do is have multiple methods here. So public function world, which would map to like probably something Tempest hello world, something like this. So the class itself is like the command namespace, and then you have several methods, each mapping to a command. There could be a lot of methods in this class, but that's okay, because I don't expect commands to like have lots of logic in them. They should just act like controllers for the command line interface and pass data to underlying services, right? So yeah, we need to do quite a lot of things here. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to mention is like in Laravel, if you define a command, you would say something like input, and there would be flags, right? In our case, we would write string input, and it would generate this command definition. And in case we want a flag, which are booleans, we just add boolean flag, and we might have defaults as well. So input could be, for example, empty, or it could be nullable. And in that case, this option would be optional, right? So yeah, that's what I want to work on today. Basically, there's quite a lot of things to do. We'll probably not be able to finish it today, but that's okay. So yeah, I'm also looking at chat for a second. Yalmar asking, wouldn't allowing multiple methods go against single responsibility? Yeah, just like controllers with multiple methods go against single responsibility principle. These command classes, they shouldn't do any logic. They are like the entry point for a user writing commands, and they should pass data to, I don't know, actions or commands on a command bus, or they should trigger events or dispatch jobs, whatever. They shouldn't do any real logic here, just like controllers shouldn't do any logic in them. I know we do, but we shouldn't. Maybe one more thing to add. I did consider adding like the invoke an invoke option. So in this case, it would be Tempest hello, basically, without a colon, something like this. So you could still have single command classes if you want to. So there are a couple of steps we need to do here. We'll have to like get the arguments, get arguments from the CLI. We need to map arguments to some kind of route, to command route, and then we need to execute the command and pass in data, return data. Now, of course, I'm taking a lot of shortcuts at the moment because we also will need ways to write things back to the CLI, which we'll do by allowing dependencies here. It will be something like output, something like this, that you could inject and you could write back to the output from this way, but we're not there yet. Let's first start with this step here and see how difficult it is. I did once a long time ago wrote something like this, so I know we need to use argv and might use getOpts, but that's how far my knowledge goes. I didn't look too much into it at the moment because, you know, it's fun to figure things out on stream together, right? So yeah, my first thought with argv is that I want to be able to mock this. Is it super global? No, it's just some kind of magic variable, it seems. But you know, you want to mock this. You can access it via server argv as well. You want to mock it because you really don't want you don't want to execute real scripts within your test suite, basically. So I actually already have a server interface that it takes care of methods, method URI and body, and it's basically a representation of the super global server, only containing the data I need. So I could do the same. I could reuse this server object, but I would need to make things nullable. I'm not sure if I like that. I could make one specifically for the CLI, which is the first difficult choice to make, because if I make one specifically for the CLI, I have to refactor my interface here, because this one is very much focused on HTTP data. Maybe a good way to start actually is to create just a file Tempest and actually run this and see what happens. So let's say let's dump out server here, and we'll need to require my autoloading script, of course, vendor autoload, and let's run it. And let's take a look. This is what the output of server. So we have path, and what are we looking for? argv, right? argv. Yeah. So the first argument is always the path to the script that's executed. And let me actually create a run configuration for this. Let's add a shell script. Oh well, could have copied this, but let's say php tempest.php. I should do it like this: php tempest.php hello world. This is a good first start, I would say. Working directory is all fine. Let's see if it works. Oh, I didn't name it. Edit Tempest, and actually let's pin this. So okay, yeah, this looks good, right? Let's move. Oh, press the wrong button. Let's move it to the right. Oh, right. This is easier. Okay, so this is like the array that we need, and this is the array that we want to mock basically for our tests, because I don't want to deal with running real CLI scripts every time I'm running a test. And I think that's a good starting point, so that I can just make a test basically. So what we'll need is a CLI application for sure. Application, is that right? Application, yeah. Which implements application, which implements a run method. And basically we should do whatever we want here. So let's dump out server here. This is the entry point, and we'll write a test. So this is our test case for now. Test CLI application, and we'll worry about passing real server data in later. Let's just say for now we'll construct it and we'll pass in array arguments. I think this is a good starting point. We'll refactor this, right? But I actually don't want to be bothered with abstracting things away for now. I want to focus on mapping, right? So let's say this is our array. Let's copy it over. Arguments. Yeah, I can't write again. Like so. And okay, then application, let's just call it CLI, is new CLI application. We'll pass in the arguments, and then we'll say CLI run, right? This args, and let's now run this test. Okay, good. So what we want to do is map the first argument to the command class and the second argument to the methods, right? Okay. Let's. The neighbors are working again. Annoying. Let's go to run here. Let's just write it here for now. So the command equals this args1. If it doesn't exist, there's not found error, throw new exception, no command found. Okay. Or passed, rather. We'll convert it to the class name. And maybe we should rename our class here to just hello for now. Can you hear that? You probably can. So you see first, right? So command class, you see first command, at which point we'll have to actually load the command class. And what I want to do here, because I have to map this to a class name, right? Hello should map to app console hello, and I don't think I've shown this on stream yet, but there is a concept of like discovery in Tempest, which is pretty nice. So let's write a command discoverer. Implements discover. Let's do discover. So this one gets a class, and it should do something with it. If this class actually implements the right interface, basically. So what we're going to do as well is let's have a console directory here. Console config, which let's actually take a look. Oh yeah, I know how it works. Public array commands, like this. It shouldn't be read only. So all right, that's good. We still need to add it in a register it as a singleton, actually, which should happen in the application, in our CLI application. So let's actually, we need a kernel. Well, it can happen in the kernel. New kernel. The kernel is basically the class that sets up everything, like the container. And also scans for config files. So it like this for now. Console.php. And we'll return new console config. Like this. Return new. Yeah, perfect. It's just an empty config now, because our discovery will actually fill this config for us so that we don't have to do it ourselves. And it should be, yeah, it should all be fine. We still need to initialize the kernel in it, and we need actually a couple of directories. Copying it over right now. I can make some changes here later. So root directory args, blah, blah, blah. We say this root directory and this root namespace. And this returns the container actually, which we might need. Yeah, good. Again, I'll clean this up afterwards, but I want to have something working first. In this case, it will be CLI application app. That's our root folder. Good. Oh yeah, discovery. So if you go here now, we should end up in our we run init. I still have to register my discover. It's something I have to do manually in the kernel. Console. What did I command discover? Let's call it console command discover. That's better. Good. Okay, so now this discover, it gets all classes that live here, basically, and it has to say whether it wants to do something with it or not. And we have our console config. And we can simply add commands to it. So add command, class name. Let's say reflection class here, because what I want to do, this commands class get short name equals class. Okay. Reflection. Oh, add var. Reflection class commands. Like so, okay. So now we get all our classes basically from our app folder, and we basically we check whether this current class implements console command, and if it does, we'll add it to our config. That's all that should happen here. So if not, is there like a method is a implements, perfect. If not class implements interface console command, will return, and otherwise we'll say this config add command class. So, and that's everything that should happen. Let's just dump that out to make sure. Perfect. So basically now, if we go back to our CLI application, and if we resolve get console config from the container here, then we can resolve the class. So let's see, command name, command class equals console config commands, command name, okay, command class, and let's take a look. This, yeah, we have our we have our class here. Okay, let's take a look at chat. So get short name, wouldn't that cause a collision quickly? Yes, it would, but so I like to keep things simple. And at this point, I don't really want to deal with collisions. I want this framework basically to have like the convention that this there's only one way of defining commands and there can't be any collisions. And if there are, well, you're out of luck, basically. What I might do in the future is add an attribute, like something like console namespace, hello world, something like this, so that you can override the command name, basically. But I don't want to be bothered with that right now. I like things simple at the moment, and yeah, I'm not too worried about collisions at this point, at least. Let's see how I think about that in 2 weeks, when I probably run into some problems, and we'll actually have to deal with it. But I mean, I have a plan of dealing with it. It's just not on the top of my list at the moment. But now we have our command class. And the next thing we need to do is to find the method. First, let's actually resolve it from the container. So container get. I should class name. If not class name, throw new exception command not found. Again, I'll clean this up later. If the command is found, we'll resolve it from the container get name. Then we have an instance of command class. We do, perfect. The next thing we need to do is resolve the method, if there is any. Well, let's just assume methods are always here. So, for now. I actually thought of something. I'm going to write it like this. Right, so instead of doing this, it's all in the first argument. Yeah, which is fine because we can do this and explode like so. Command method, perfect. So now we have our method, and now we can call command class method like this, and that means we should end up here. And we do. Nice. Of course, we'll do it like this. We'll say container call command class method like so. Cannot resolve. Yes, because the container is trying to resolve these, which it shouldn't do, but we still need to resolve input. And like so. Return hi. Okay, cool. So before continuing, let's just say echo result for now, but we have to have some output here. Yeah, we need some output object. We'll add that next, actually. But first, I now want to try this out in like the real, where it is, Tempest. Console. Let's see, console is new console application. Oh, did I call it CLI application? I'm going to rename it to console application. Console application. Root directory, let's take a look, is an app, and arguments is server argv. Like so. Then we say console run. Okay, and let's try that out. It doesn't work, of course. Oh yeah, because we didn't provide any arguments here. Hello world. Let's run it again. I'm running the wrong Tempest. What did it say? Oh, I should write it here. Apply, run. Yes, okay. So now this works. Right? Yeah, cool. Yeah, next thing I want to do is write things to the output. I think that's rather important, but how do you do that in PHP? PHP, write to console output. Is it just an echo? Does anyone know in chat? Yeah, it's just writing to std out, I suppose. PHP std out. Why is it Stack Overflow? Yeah. So let's assume we'll just write to std out. Okay. We'll make a class here, output console output. And for now, you can just has something like write string line, write line probably. It returns void, and what it does. It opens a resource, I think. No. What does open return? Resource, right? You cannot type in resource, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's do it like this. Standard out. It's probably f write standard out, and then line, like so. Okay. Going back to our kernel, because we'll have to register this as a singleton as well. Init container, singleton, console output, container get console new console output, basically, like so. Now if we go to our command here, add it like this. So what happens if we now do, let's say output this output write line hi. Okay. So what happens now? It prints hi. Nice. And if I'm not mistaken, before moving on, I still have to close it as well. center it out. Okay, and what happens if we do it 3 times? It happens 3 times. Perfect. Good. That's nice. What about colors? Let's say we have an error string line. And I just have to wrap it in some kind of string. If I'm not mistaken, PHP CLI colors. Yeah. First, so yeah, this is the escape character, and then the color. Let's try it like this. Return this right line like so, I guess. I shouldn't return anything, of course. This output error. It doesn't work. Would have been too easy, right? Let's make sure this works. Yeah, okay. Oh. Should have been this. Tempest. Hey. Red. That's nice. I'll have to provide a bunch of shorthands for this, of course. But that's already pretty nice. Let's also maybe just have info, which is just an alias. Info error. Cool. Pretty nice. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is to have argument support here. Parameter. And we also probably want to clean this up before continuing. So if I, this is an exception now because I'm trying to call it via the container. Maybe I don't want to do that in this case because I have to resolve like the arguments anyway. Yeah. Maybe we'll just do it like this. Might make more sense. Too few arguments. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's clean this up first a little bit, at least. So, so all of this. Get command class. Which returns a console command. Yeah, okay, that's good. And then the next step is to resolve parameters. And with those parameters, we'll call the command. Let's take a look at chat, by the way. What theme are you using? I'm using my own theme. It's called Light. Apparently not. It's called PHP Stormlight Light. Also not. I don't know the URL. Where are my repositories? Oh, here. GitHub changed some things. Light PHP. Oh, it's this one. This is my team. And why not make it so that you can override parameters in the container when you call on the container? Yeah, that's actually already possible. But here's the issue. It's something I noticed when testing just now, but I didn't say anything about it. The call method on the container, it doesn't support optional arguments. So it if we go back to our class here, if we set this, it should just leave this alone. Also, if it's not present on in the provided input, right? And that doesn't happen yet. And so I'll have to fix that, but I don't want to deal with that now because I want to focus on this. So yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, I saw your email, and I'll reply after this stream. He won an elephant, a PHP Storm elephant. So I understand that you want to get it. I'll make sure I reply. But first, I want to finish this, right? Okay, so parameters. Resolve parameters. This resolve parameters. And we'll pass in the command class. Sure, and let's not pass in the container for now, just the command class. So command class, here we are. Yep, this is our class. And oh, we also need the method name, of course. Method. And this will return an array. Let's do it like this. So let's create a new reflection class here. New reflection class. Command class. And we'll have to find the method. So class reflection class. Get method with this name. And then we'll loop over all arguments and try to resolve them from our initial argv or arguments array here. So for each method get parameters as parameter, and parameters is this. By the way, what's the difference between an argument and a parameter? I'm not sure. I don't know which one I should use, but reflection uses parameters, so I'm going to follow that. So we have our args here, hello world, but in this case, of course, we need an extra argument. So let's actually change our Tempest thing here. Yeah, hello. How did this one isn't correct? Did I edit the wrong? Should be this. Strange. Hello world input. Let's run it. Hello world input. Perfect. Bin. Yeah. Okay. So what we want is something like this, and input arguments is this args. We need to copy it, and we have to unset the first one, and also the second one, right? Because the first one is our file name, the second one is our command name, and then as of the third one, it's input variables, which means we'll also have to input arguments array values input arguments so that our keys are reset again. And now it should be as easy as parameter get name equals input arguments, like so, and then return parameters, right? And I think we can do it like this. So resolve parameters, and we'll pass that into param inputs. Oh, it's called param. Yeah, sure. Let's say input. Okay. Okay, so it works. Let's take a look if we can like error out our input. And it works. Nice. Now we're not done yet, because this is a very naive approach, of course, to passing input to commands. Because like we have hello world and we have input, but you can also have options or flags, right? Flag, which are booleans, which should be mapped correctly. So there is more to it than what I'm doing now. Now I'm just mapping them based on their position, and I should do slightly different mapping here, but that's okay. I mean, it's work in progress, right? However, I do think this is about as far as I want to go in this stream, because we can get arguments from CLI, we can map them to our command class with the method, and we can execute the command and actually return some data, which is cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here and work on this some more off stream, because there's quite a lot of things to polish. But honestly, it's a bit easier to like concentrate and get in the zone when I don't have to talk through everything. So yeah, let's take a look at if there are any more questions. I'm from Belgium. Thanks for asking. You're asking parameters for functions, arguments for class methods. Oh yeah, that was from so parameters for functions and arguments for class methods. Yes, but like PHP Reflection API, it calls it parameters for methods. So I don't know. Oh, but Atev, you say parameter is the placeholder in the function definition and argument is the value itself. That could very well be true. That's a good explanation. I'll try to remember that. So arguments, when I have an array of arguments, it's an array of values. And when I have a parameter, it's the name. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Cool. So, and maybe this one, PHP attributes for params, flag input. Yeah, so I do want to have as little configuration as possible. So if we can manage without attributes, we'll do it without. And for now, I think we can manage without, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to conclude the stream here. I'm going to work on it some more off stream. Thanks for being here, and leave your thoughts in the comments if you're watching this afterwards. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.